Shalom, Kohalayim La, Abanawa Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ruchak Wadash, the honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who have taught us all this truth in the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. I'm Shaquat, and I'm back here with another lesson, more willing is edifying to the hopeful elect, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Barakathon. To you, sincere, I came walk the minister, sincere shalom to you, brothers. Alright, pushing this truth on the highways and the byways, and through the YouTube blessings, man, shalom to you all. Lord willing, this be edifying and exhorting to the hopeful elect. Salakia beforehand in advance for any external noise in the background. Alright, please forgive me. But I'd also like to say that this video will be conducted under the Fair Use Copyrights Act of 1976, where all the public information that will be used and found in this video will be used for the purposes of education, teaching, criticism, and news reporting and research. Alright. Also, this video will not be monetized. Alright, I will not be gaining any profit from this video. This is a non-profit video. Alright, this is a non-profit video. Without further ado, we're gonna get into it. Not gonna make this too long. Just have an article of something, a question being asked. And it's a very valid question because this is supposed to be partaken, coming to pass in December of this year. All right, so we're in April now, so that's about 8 months. So in about 8 months, this is supposed to be taking place. Which, I believe in the spirit it may even happen sooner than that, depending on how these conflicts continue on. All hell's not World War III is not gonna completely break out fully. We are in World War III, but we're not at the pinnacle of nuclear war. Nuclear war won't come to pass and take place until the mark of the beast is mandated. Until that happens, that ain't gonna happen. So it says, are young men ready to be automatically drafted? And it's a question. All right, are young men ready to be automatically drafted? And the simple answer to that question is no. All right, and they should also be asking, are older men ready to be drafted? Because they keep on moving the damn enlistment age up. Now I know the draft technically, the draft is only for individuals technically 18 to 25, but that ain't, I'm telling you, they're gonna move all this shit and switch everything around. So are young men ready to be drafted? Are ready to be automatic? Let's read it again. Military. Are young men ready to be automatically drafted when no say so? And the answer to that question is no. No, they aren't. So it says a provision and the fiscal 2026 National Defense Authorization Act will shift the United States to automatic registration. All right, meaning it ain't like the old days back in the 80s and stuff, 70s or 80s, where you have to literally go to the offices and literally enlist your name. So if there is a draft, your name's in the pile to be possibly selected, right? This time, now it's just automatic. You're automatically your name is automatically in the hat. It's automatically in the hat. So it says states to automatic registration for the selective service system, replacing decades of individual self-registration while leaving the legal framework for a military draft unchanged. According to the federal law and agency materials, under the change, millions of men who would otherwise have been required to register on their own will instead be entered into the system by the federal government automatically. If you're within the age range, you're getting entered in. So even if you're not within the age range, nigga, you're going in, right? It says the law signed by Donald Trump on December 18, 2025 amends the Military Selective Service Act to require that covered individuals be registered directly by the federal government. Section 535 states. Section 535 states that male citizens of the United States and other male persons residing in the country between the ages of 18 and 26, okay, so it's 26 now, shall be automatically registered by the Director of Selective Service System according to the statute. Now, you do have women out there who think they've dodged a bullet, but as I made a lesson on it about 3-4 weeks ago, you women are also they're thinking, they're open to the possibility of making a draft based upon women as well. So not just men getting drafted, but women as well, which I don't see why it wouldn't be that way. I don't know why they wouldn't open a draft and have it for women also, for both genders, men and women. I mean, that would make sense, because are there not women in the military? See, the reason there wasn't women in the draft beforehand, because there were no women in the military. But now you have a plethora of women in the military. So why wouldn't you open a draft for both men and women? That would make most sense, and that's what's probably going to happen, you know? So, you know, that whole woman could pass in a man, we could do y'all could do anything that we could do, and y'all can even do it better. Well, we're about to find out when your ass get drafted up and shipped over to war. Because the draft is gonna also include women. You know, went into that, there was an article going into that, how they're open to the possibility, and nigga, they're gonna do it. You know, they're gonna do it. So all that shit you women be talking is gonna be put to the test come that time. The law signed. No, I read that. The change represents a significant administration shift in how the Selective Service System operates, transferring responsibility for registration from individuals to the government. Based on the language of the law and agency planning documents, those materials indicate that the system will rely on federal data integration rather than individual action to populate the registry. The Selective Service System has said in official planning documents that it intends to implement automatic registration by December 2026. And that's around the time when the draft is going to take place, which they already have it implemented, man. When they tell you shit like that, just already know it's already in effect. Alright, they talking about December, nigga. That shit's in effect now in April. Alright, they just don't want to tell you niggas that. Alright, so it's already in effect. Just bear with me for a moment. Saying, it's already in effect, but it says using information provided by federal agencies to identify eligible individuals and complete registration without requiring action by those individuals. So like I was mentioning earlier, you ain't got to go into the offices anymore and literally enlist your name. It's going to be an automatic due process. Alright, because Esau has that technology to be able to do that. Alright, he's been had it, but now he's talking about it. The agency has not yet finalized the regular, and I'm glad. A lot of you YNs need to go over there to war. All you YNs who so ready to shoot a nigga for nothing. A nigga can accidentally bump into you in public. You ready to kill a nigga about that shit. Listen, man, how about y'all warriors, y'all quote-unquote warriors, y'all go to war? Yeah, it's time. Send your ass over there to war. Get your ass your Glock. Take your little Glock over there. Let's see how you pan out, how you fare out. You know, how you fare in that war. In the valley of Yahushua. Let's see how it goes. Alright, it says, The agency has not yet finalized the regulatory framework governing how that data integration will function in practice. The change modifies how the registry is built, but does not activate a draft. The Selective Service System states in public guidance that there is no draft at present and that the system exists to provide personnel, only if authorized by the President and Congress under current law. Alright? And then it gets more into it, and apparently you gotta subscribe to fucking see the rest of the damn article. Nobody got time for this shit. I can see these next two paragraphs, but nobody got time for that, right? So, like the title said, like the title of the shit said, are young men ready to be automatically drafted? No. And we're gonna say that in the scripture. Got it right here in Jeremiah 51 and 30, forgive me. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might hath failed. They become as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. So let's read that from the top. The mighty men, the warriors. You're talking about your soldiers, talking about men out there in the world who think they like that. Alright, yeah, all you men, your mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. So when it comes down to it, no. The answer to that question is no. They're not gonna be ready to fight. They're gonna try to not go. Alright, you're gonna have the biggest mass protesting and looting and whatever you want to say you've ever seen. Revolt, all that shit when this shit really pays out. Cause no, they don't want to go. They got all these valuable things here. They got shoes, cars, women, games, video games, gaming chairs, fucking houses, all that shit. These things that they have here. They don't want to leave that behind. And they damn sure don't want to leave it behind and go fight a war that's really not their war. But truly it is their war when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. But, so they're forborn to fight. So no, they're not ready. They're not ready for it. Alright? Absolutely not. It says they have remained in their holes, so they rather stay at home. Nobody want to go out there and fight no more. They rather stay in the crib. It says their might have failed. None of these niggas mighty, none of that shit. They became as women, so now these niggas are like women, so no. And even then, you women are gonna be getting drafted too. I'm telling you. It's lucky. So yeah, man. It says they have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. Alright, her bars are broken. So there you go. That's the spirit. These people ain't ready for this stuff. These people ain't ready, man. And this place is going to be overthrown. And the fact that there is a draft even in the mention, in the works, and America is supposed to just be this top dog powerhouse is fucking crazy. It should show you how weak this place is and how strong the other nations have gotten over the times. Let the weak say I am strong. And now America is waxing weaker and weaker. Now they're looking for help. Like when you go into the book of Nahum, the 3rd chapter, they're seeking for help. America is seeking for help any way possible, even through the lens of a draft. But America is supposed to have the most powerful military in the world. So why do you even need to consider a draft possibly happening in December of this year if y'all so powerful? Well, the truth of the matter is y'all not as powerful as you once was. And all these other nations are no longer fearful of you. Alright? They're no longer fearful of you anymore. They felt you out. Now we in the latter rounds where people get drug into deep waters. Right now you're in deep waters, and they condition themselves. They prepare for this, so they good. But you're drowning. You're done. Your punches and your kicks are becoming like they're moving like you're in a dream. When you punch and kick, it's like you're in a dream now. You know, you can barely keep your hands up to guard. They low kick you, that you can't check that motherfucker. You know, throw a teep kick at you. You don't know, you can't stop it. You can't grab it and trip them. You know, now you easy for the pickings. A nigga shoot a takedown, single leg. Now you done. Now you just done. Now he dropping elbows, 12 to 6s. Now he just dropping them on your ass. And you're done. Alright? So this place is finished. Because even the fact that it has to consider a draft, it shows you this place is finished. And nobody gonna want to go. This place is completely over with. American pride plummet. Yeah, prideful America. That reminds me of the scripture. That's what I'm riding by a van on the highway right now. It says American pride plummet. Hey, like Jeremiah 49 says, and Obadiah? Obadiah states, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. So Esau's pride has deceived this nigga. He thinks he's untouchable. He's finding out he's indeed touchable. Now he's seeking out for help. And the men, you young mighty men who don't want to go to war, well, you gonna still be at war, whether you go overseas to fight or whether you stay in America, nigga. You're still gonna be at war, and you're gonna probably end up dying in it, because it's gonna be civil war here too, right? And as Isaiah 3 states in 2nd Ezra 16, young men, they're gonna die at war, whether they get shipped over or whether they're in America in the midst of the civil war. You're gonna die at war regardless. So there's no escaping that, nigga. Whether you get drafted over there or whether you stay here, you're going to be at war anyway. You're going to end up dying most likely. Right? These are the times that we're living in. These are the times that we're talking about. But nobody wants to talk about this. In your Christian church, nobody wants to mention these things. Nothing. Everybody wants to talk about jolly joy, golly gee, woo hee hee yay. Nobody wants to talk about the true nitty gritty. Alright, nobody ever wants to talk about the true nitty-grittiness of the scriptures. Everybody wants the sweet, but nobody wants the bitter. You know, we're supposed to eat the sweet and the bitter. As the Lord told Ezekiel in Ezekiel 3, he got to eat the whole roll. What did the Lord was talking when the Lord was talking to John the Baptist? You know, John the Revelator, forgive me. Got him mixed up. In Revelation, the 10th chapter, he said you got to eat the sweet, but you got to eat the bitter. You got to eat the bitter. The bitter is honestly more important than the sweet for the times that we're in, you know, because we ain't in no sweet times, my nigga. We in some very bitter times. And hell, America, what's America? What does America mean? America means bitter. It literally means bitter. Look into the etymology of the word. It literally means bitter. So, yeah. All right, this place is completely finished. And the water, Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai forward. And now you even have Donald Trump shaking in his boots, making empty threats against Iran. This nigga has, y'all got to 8 p.m. or we gonna bomb your whole country. Nigga, no you not. And then now he pushed the deadline back to like next week at 8 and some Monday or something at 8 p.m. Nigga, y'all ain't finna do shit. You ain't finna do nothing. Now this nigga just nervous and he just saying shit. Nigga talking about praise be to Allah on Truth Social. And nigga talking about y'all gonna be living in hell. We're gonna just annihilate you. Nigga, nobody's scared of your ass no more. You miss Jeremiah 51:7? They not scared no more. Nigga, they said, what it say in Joel 3, let the weak say I'm strong. What they say in Jeremiah 51:7? Now the nations are mad. They mad at your ass. They ain't hearing none of that shit. And you fighting with a wild motherfucker, nigga. Ishmael and Elam, especially Ishmael, them some wild motherfuckers. Boy. They talking about y'all got to 8 p.m. to come to an agreement with this whole, ceasefire, blah blah blah. We're gonna bomb the shit out of your whole country. We're gonna just completely destroy y'all. No, you're not. It's not gonna happen. You know, it's just empty threats, just to make it look like America still got a pot to piss in, still got a ledge to stand on, when they really don't. This place is done. It's hilarious to see. So that's why this nigga got Paula White and all the motherfucking quote unquote pastors and that fucking shit praying over his fucking goofy ass. This shit was hilarious.
In 2 miles, use the right lane to take exit 90BA for Florida 414 West Maitland Boulevard.
Yeah, that shit got all them people praying over him and shit. That shit was funny. This place is through, man. And hey, he's in fear. Like it says in Jeremiah 50, around about 43 or so. And hey, the king of Babylon, he's afraid. He heard the report. And here we go in verse 31, it says, one post shall run to meet another, and then one messenger shall to meet another, to shew the king of Babylon that his city is taken at one end. And then it gets more into it, and that goes aligns with Jeremiah 50 and 43, around where it speaks about the king of Babylon is in fear, man. Roughly paraphrasing, he even become like one. You know, when Trump is a coward, he's a straight coward. That's it. That nigga's a coward, man. Yeah. That nigga's a coward. But yeah, I'm gonna end this lesson off here. I do hope and pray that it was edifying to the elect. Right, I'm going to close the lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who have taught us all this truth in the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And until next time, Abba Babal, Kwam Yasharallah, Gadol Abadiim, Lababal, Hagadol, Yahweh Mahar, Wahabathum. Until next time, I would like to say unto you all,
in half a mile,
Shalom.
use the right lane to take exit 90BA for Florida 414 West Maitland Boulevard.
All right. Anyway, Shalom, Salakia.